It's going to take an almighty effort tomorrow against an informed, organised side, which you'd expect from a Luke Garrard side. So, look, we're going into it as positively as we can. And I've got every faith whoever wears the shirt and crosses the line tomorrow, whether off the bench or starting, will perform.
Is there any positive news on the injury front in terms of progress in any of the players, James?
Real positive is Kwasi's with the surgeon today for sign-off from him. That's the next step for him. He's been back in non-contact work, kicking a ball, etc., sprinting, a little bit of change of direction. So he gets the sign-off today, and then he has to go to St George's, which is the next step, about 3 weeks' time. And that's the final one. If he gets a tick in there, then he can come back into full training with myself. We've got to be patient with Kwasi. It's been obviously a brutal injury. He's done everything right. Nick's been superb with him, and I'm sure at the right time when we integrate him with the team on the pitch, it'll be the right time.
In terms of managing expectations with the fans, that's still going to take a few weeks, isn't it? Yeah, that's what I was trying to say there, is that we've just got to integrate him on the pitch in a live game as such at the right time. We also need to see how he comes back into the full contact. But yeah, hopefully the shackles are coming off slowly, and look, he's nearly there. So it's come around quite quickly. I think a lot's happened since his injury, isn't it? Because we've been in the playoffs. There was not a big break in the summer, and then we're straight back into it. So look, it'll be a look like a new signing. I've got no doubts about his ability. I understand the news on Joe Rowe. I know he was injured at Kings Lynn Town. He's better than everyone first expected. It
is, but I don't want to get too far ahead of myself with this answer. But we're not sure because the swelling was so bad. Obviously, that can discolour or send you down a wrong pathway in terms of what the injury is on the scan. He needs to be re-scanned when the swelling goes down, which is, he's in this morning. Swelling hopefully would have gone down, and we can send him for another scan and then see what the prognosis is. Look, it's one of those things. It's a shame for Joe because he's been performing well. As I said, I've been monitoring his performances at Kings Lynn. Been really strong, and the minutes he's played is exactly what he needed to get his confidence and the games ready for back into our first team. But it's a shame on that one. But look, we'll be there when he overcomes this injury, and then we need to see, is a loan the best option for him again, or is it get him back into our team?
If you do feel this is necessary, James, are you able to dip into the transfer market or loan market for one or two players?
I'm trying to delay that. Look, we're down to the bare bones now in terms of we can't have any more injuries or bad luck. But I don't want to introduce too many more people into the change room. We've got a real strong group, a real strong ethos in there, and look, we're all pulling in the same direction. The results and the points return has been really good considering we played 7 away. So I want to hesitate on that, and look, I want to give everybody an opportunity. And tomorrow it's a great test for us, and we're always learning. So I'm sure learning will take place tomorrow with the group.
Just some reflections on Curzon and Ashton. A great opportunity really to use that squad. You talk about giving opportunities to players. You made 8 changes. You must have been pleased given that with the outcome.
Yeah, I was really pleased against an informed team. I don't think they'd lost at home, so to win so emphatically was impressive. I thought we controlled the procedures really from 10 minutes onwards. It was a tight 10 minutes. It was always going to be in a cup tie, but once we got that first goal on 15 minutes, I think we controlled procedures, scored different goals, different types of goals, took learning from training into the game as well, which reflected in the clean sheet and the goals that we scored. Really good performance, and again, it backs up the methodology in the training is working, because some of those players hadn't played for a while, and they look really fit, strong and ready to go. So a really pleasing afternoon.
Valuable goals as well for Payne, Tyson and Mandeville in the context of their seasons. Yeah,
it's important. Mandeville starts getting more goals and assists from that position. He started to do that back end of last year and was really impressive in that run into the playoffs, that back end of last season. Found his form, and he's got to start doing that again now, and he knows that himself. He's a very talented lad. I work with him day in, day out. I know what he's got, and he needs to start coming to the forefront with that more regularly in the games, which he knows himself.
And a positive debut for Melvin Minter as well, getting a clean sheet in goal. I mean, that must be, something that he will take a lot from, and that you will as well.
Yeah, the shutouts we've had this season only breeds confidence, doesn't it? And any successful team comes from a strong foundation. I believe we've built a strong foundation here, and the amount of clean sheets we've had last season and carried that into this season, I'm really pleased with.
2 4-0 wins in a row away from home. I mean, professionalism, ruthlessness, lots of other kind of pluses to come from them. That must be something that you're impressed with your side with.
Yeah, when you come into top of the table clashes as well in any competition, both boxes matter. So it comes down to the smallest details often in games like this, which we're going to have tomorrow. We've got the experience in the change room and the know-how. The big games we played at the back end of last year will stand us in good stead, this group, and hopefully we can show that on the pitch. It's going to take an almighty effort tomorrow, including in the stands. We need to pull together tomorrow. It's going to be a big almighty effort considering our situation that we know we're in, and we've got to get the players over the line and give them the support they need, and I certainly will be doing that from the sideline, and I'm sure the supporters that turn up will do as well.
Yeah, Boreham Wood and yourselves only lost once so far this season. Both made good starts to the year. What have you made of them so far?
Yeah, the clean sheets they've got and the goals they've conceded is impressive. They've got a similar foundation to us. That's why both boxes will count tomorrow, and they're an organised team. Not a lot of passages of play. They simplify their work in possession, and they've been effective. Many numbers behind the ball, so it's going to take different ways to overcome that. So we need to be strong and make sure we make it count in the both 18-yard boxes, like I've said.
A couple of goalless draws last season with them. What did you take from those games? And from what I hear from some fans, there were a bit of dark arts on show at times, I believe.
No, I don't want to speculate on that. Look, it's going to be a tight game. In these type of games, many things happen. Adversity for both teams is who comes through mentally best. And when it comes to ruthlessness in the 18-yard boxes, we need to make sure we make them count, and we need to keep the ball out of our net. And when the chances come, because there'll be opportunities tomorrow, we take them and not let them off the hook.
Will Evans and Scott Bowden returning to the club, players with big associations with Chesterfield Football Club, will they return with a bit of a point to prove, do you think?
I don't want to speculate on their mindsets. I've got a great relationship with Will. Probably my toughest decision, really, to let him go, because he's a great lad. He was a good leader here in some tough times, and his integrity stood strong. And when he came out of the team last year, because he had a good run, it was a big part of our clean sheets at the start of my tenure here. He came out of the team. He was a professional in his training at all times. Came back in at the back end of last year and performed really well. Was unfortunate in the playoff game, I felt, because he was taking the goal kicks, wasn't he, and then sprinting up with the injury to our goalie, and probably ran out of legs in the end and got caught on the set play. But in terms of as a human being, I really enjoyed working with my older shot. Really enjoyed working with him here, and it'll be good to see him tomorrow. And look, it's no coincidence that the amount of shutouts that Boreham would have got with him in the team. He's a great lad.
How tough a decision was that then in terms of letting him go?
It was, but you can't have everything at this level. You work with a budget. You have to make tough decisions in terms of, okay, what do you need? What do we think we need in terms of coming from 6th to 1st, or going from 6th to 1st? And I think I said that in my first press conference this year. It's a harder task to try and win this league than get in the playoffs. I know we had a good run from 22nd to 6th, but you can only spread your budget so far in terms of what you need in certain positions. And unfortunately, George Carlini can probably play right centre back and right wing back. He's picked up a serious injury, so we're lacking cover there now at the moment. But we're still in a good place, and I'm really looking forward to this next 7 days. And we want to get as many points as we can, starting tomorrow.
Do you have to back yourself really when making decisions like this, especially when a player has big ties with the club? Because football can be, well, we mentioned ruthlessness on the pitch, it can be that way off the pitch as well. Yeah,
and that's part of, you have to be thick-skinned as a manager. You have to, you live by the sword, you die by the sword in terms of those decisions, don't you? And thankfully our form's continued, and we've continued on that 2 points a game, and we've increased that from 1.9 from last year. So we're up on that. So some good decisions have been made from the club, not just myself. It's not a dictatorship. We work closely with the board and obviously my staff. And look, we've kept up our clean sheet ratio as well. So it's a good decision on that front. In terms of your question, of course, it's personal ties as well to Will. So that was a difficult decision. I've known him a long time, so I'm looking forward to seeing him tomorrow. And look, it's not about him, it's not about me, it's about both teams, and it's going to be a good game tomorrow, and we need to stick together and get the team over the line.
Just finally, James, back home after a few games away, 4 of the next 5 are at home. How much do you need to try and make the best of that and take the advantage from that little spell at the technique?
Yeah, it felt like we were on the road for a long time in the last 6 weeks. So the supporters have been fantastic, by the way. I want to say that they've travelled in numbers. We never ever devalue that support. The cost, the sheer time to come and support us. We've been in Essex, we've been down in Yeovil. Curzon was a bit closer, and to get 800 there for an FA Cup game in support was superb. And we can always hear them, and they get us over the line. And just want to thank them, take this opportunity to thank them for their support. And now we're back on our own turf. We're all looking forward to putting a showcase on tomorrow. Really excited, and we want to play in our way. For sure, it's going to be the biggest test so far in terms of the opponent breaking up our rhythm. But we'll overcome that, and to overcome that, the mindset needs to be strong. Which the training's been good this week, so I'm fully confident it will be.